And so for me, I began to slow down and not be impulsive. See, in the moment, when everybody else is doing something, in the moment, when everything else seems like it's not a big deal, I had to slow down and ask myself the question, is this going to help or destroy, build or grow? I don't want to be impulsive in my choices. Hard work, good choices. And then the last one's the toughest one. The last one is one of the most difficult ones that we're facing, and it's learning to value people. You see, growing up, if I was going to be honest, and I believe most of us on the surface are this way, and it's not our fault. It's kind of like the human nature of who we are. We naturally, it seems to be, are pretty self-centered, self-absorbed, self-circulating around me, where I want to go, what I want to do. I realized at the end of the day, when I was growing up, from my youth all the way up to when I was 23, I would only value people if I thought you were benefiting me. If I thought that you could enhance my life, if I thought that you could add to my life, I could gain something from your relationship, that's when I would value you. If I thought I could benefit from you, man, that is selfish. And it took me a long time to realize I don't want to be a person who is self-absorbed, that only has time for people if you can help me, but I want to be a person that is intentional and is very thoughtful of adding value to every person I encounter. How can I add value to the people around me? I don't want to be the person who walks into the room and it becomes all about me, self-absorbed, this, that. And we all know those people. They walk into the room and you're like, oh shoot, I don't even want to be in this room with that person. We all got them. We all know who they are. And I bet some of us know sometimes that's you. So the biggest challenge that I had to really face in the man in the mirror, that person was saying, I don't want to be self-centered. I want to learn to be selfless, because this is what I've learned, y'all. What you give away, you get to keep. When I began to be a person that was intentional of adding value to my friends, adding value to people, whoever were brought in front of me that day, whatever life brought in front of me, how can I let every person that I come in contact with know that they matter? How can I do random acts of kindness? And it changed me for a few reasons. For one, when you start doing random acts of appreciation and kindness, it's like a boomerang, y'all. You throw it and it comes right back around. What you give away, you get to keep, man. People will start also seeing that you care about others. They'll start caring about you. And without you even trying to value people to gain position and to gain advancing in your dreams and your goals, when you begin to value people and be a person who cares about people, it always creates opportunity for us to continue to advance in our dream. It's crazy, man. And then what else I've learned is, growing up, there was a lot of times people said, hey, Nathan, you have worth, you have value, I believe in you. And you probably have had those people, right? They tell you, don't give up, we believe in you. And they tell you it over and over and over again, and yeah, it sounds good. But man, you go back to your house and you're by yourself. Those words, they're just words because you don't feel that way. You don't feel like you have worth, and you don't feel like you have value. And so what I've learned is this, and I didn't even see this really coming this way, but I had such a hard time beginning to really have self-belief, of self-worth, self-esteem, understanding that, my past wasn't my bigger than my future, that I could change, that I could overcome my anxiety, my depression, my struggles in life. It was so hard because everybody told me how important I was, but I didn't feel it. But when I started, even in the middle of all of my stuff, I committed in my heart and in my mind, I'm going to be intentional about letting people around me know that they matter. Random acts of kindness, words of encouragement, literally going above and beyond my way to let people know that they matter. Just being a good person, man. You know what began to happen and I didn't even realize it? I stopped focusing on all the negative attributes of who I was and my lack of self-worth and I stopped focusing on all the things and the negativity, and I started focusing on who could I help and who could I pour out to and who could I give to. And what I realized over time, I stopped focusing on all the things that I could never change. And I realized what you starve will die. What you feed will grow. What I put my time and my focus into, it was always getting bigger. But when I started not allowing the negative lifestyle, the negative energy, the negative people, the negative influence, and all this thing to consume me, and I took my attention off of my failures and started focusing on how can I continue to work on personal development and helping people, I turned around years later and I was like, man, I really have this sense of purpose, self-worth, self-value. Like, I was beginning to believe what people said about me. Why? Because what you give away, you get to keep, y'all. And so I began to work on these 5 areas of my life. Learning to be committed. Now, these things don't just happen by accident. You have to be intentional. You have to wake up and say, today, I want to be intentional of making sure I'm being transparent with the people that I trust. I want to make sure I'm being intentional and allowing them to hold me accountable. You don't have to, but how bad do you want that best life that you want to live? Because no one's going to care about your future more than you. I don't care what people say. Yep, teachers and coaches and mentors and parents, they care about you, absolutely. But when it's all said and done, there's only you, and no one will ultimately ever care about the quality of your life more than you. And no one's going to spoon feed it to you, but also nobody can take it from you. Put in the work, make good choices, value people, be accountable, be transparent, and nothing can stop you, y'all. And so what I did when I came home from that prison in 2013, about 6 years ago, after getting released 11 years early, after I only did 4, and I came to that hometown. And everybody said, Nathan, you want to be an inspiration? What? Dude, you don't have the vernacular that can communicate that message to persuade the audience and the crowd. And I said, you're right, I don't. And you're not the most gifted, the most talented. I said, you're right, I'm not. But this is what I know. Hard work works, and hard work can outwork talented people who don't want to work that hard. I refuse to let the fear of failure hold me hostage. I refuse to let the words of negativity hold me back. This is what I learned. I live by this, man. And I say it in this kind of a paraphrase. You're never going to know if you're going to sink or swim unless you jump in the water. You're never going to know what you can accomplish or what you are going to struggle at unless you get in the game. Some of you are like, you know what? At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you know, can I just be real with y'all? Can I be real? Some of y'all just know your attitude sucks. For real. Some of y'all just know that your attitude's crap. You treat people the wrong way. You're disrespectful. Some of you act like you just don't care, but really when no one's around, really you do care, but you have such a fear of letting go of that anger, of that hurt, of that frustration, and it comes out by you hurting people. Some of you, there are areas in your life that you know you're neglecting, and you act like it's no big deal, and we can just gloss over it. Nothing's gonna change, y'all. I had to learn the hard way. I had to go through a lot of craziness, and I compromised myself, and I gave into peer pressure, and I gave into this, and I cared so much about all of you accepting me. I just needed all of you to think and give me your self-approval of me, that I was willing to compromise what I knew was right and I was wrong. And you know what it led me to? Heartache, destruction, disasters. Not only my life, I affected another life. I battled with an addiction, man, that about killed me.